Hi everyone, I am Brittany the Cosmic Lunar Soul. Welcome to my channel if you're new. Welcome back to all my subscribers. Today I am doing an unboxing and flip through of the 111 limited edition version of the Earth, Moon, and Shadow Oracle. If you recall, or maybe if you don't recall, that Oracle actually won my best deck of 2022 that I brought into my collection. So I'm super happy to get the limited edition. We'll kind of talk all about that. Let's go ahead and get into it. This deck is, of course, by Serefina and published by Rue and Vervain. So I will put the links to this in the description, but it is sold out, just so you know, and it was limited edition, but I'll put the link to it and to Serefina's socials just so you can know of anything else being released in the future. She does have some fun things coming out, so keep that in mind. So it came with two things here. This is the deck. I'm going to put this off to the side and hold you guys in suspense. And this is a book. So let's go ahead and get it open. So this is just a notebook, but it's so pretty. This is the back artwork of the card. And then this is one of the artworks of one of the cards. It's actually one of my favorite cards. Not my actual favorite card, but one of my favorites. So I really like it. The cover has the what is that finish? The rose petal finish, that super matte rose petal finish that the cards had. It feels so buttery and smooth. I love it. It's just a regular lined notebook. I'm not sure what I'll use it for, but it's a notebook. Like, I could use it for anything, right? Obviously, if you don't have other notebooks, you could use it for readings, specifically with this, or just your tarot readings in general. But yeah, it's quite lovely. It's a really nice notebook. Let's open the deck. Okay, here is the it's so nice. Sorry, I'm like fangirling, guys. Here is the limited edition deck. And just to mention, I always forget to mention this, but the artwork is by Kat Amsel. And again, this deck was created by Serefina Mesa. All of that information will be in the description for you guys. Now, if you're curious what the difference is between the decks, or the boxes rather, you can see that here. This is much smaller. This was the original Kickstarter that I got. I believe she did sell these in her shop for a while, but then came out with this limited edition. And the boxes 100% different. The verbiage on the back is the same, but the boxes itself, night and day, right? So this is a cool ass design, guys. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Look at that. So instead of the traditional thumb holes of other decks, this just has like a really cool like notch in it, notch kind of design. And then if we open it up, we have like some artwork in the box. It says, everybody carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. This is a quote by Carl Jung. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out so we can look at the rest of the box. The inside is just kind of a standard, you know, I guess I can call these like a double walled, like a box in a box kind of thing. It's just like a little insert here that the deck goes into, and then the guidebook sits on top. So I'm going to go ahead, set this off to the side. Here we have the guidebook and the deck, and then this is a certificate of authenticity card. I purchased deck 62 out of 111. Let me see what my other deck is. Okay, this is my card of authenticity from the original deck, and I purchased 47 out of 750. So we'll kind of talk a little bit more about the comparison of the cards once we go through the entire flip through and get to the end. But I will show you before we go on to the guidebook. The guidebook looks almost exactly the same. they're the same thickness, I believe. Yes, they're the same thickness. The colors are more muted on the new one than they are on the old one. Like there's some greens in here that pop out more than they do here. And especially you can see that in the moon, and you can see that in the bird. Let me zoom in some. Yeah, I believe you can see that. You can see how the vibrancy along here, you can see it in the eyeball. The reds pop. There's a little more greens that are popping in the moon. Just aesthetic differences, nothing really. It's all fashion, no function. So there is some artwork in here where there wasn't. I'm gonna have to crack open the spine for you guys. I feel like you don't deserve it. um okay, let's just get it cracked open. This cover page, or this page here, this side was like blank or like very muted or something. But there's actual artwork here. And then we get into kind of the standard fare, acknowledgments, dedication, the preface from the author, from the artist, introduction. And then we get into like the whole working with the cards sections. So I don't want to go through the entire guidebook because this is actually very similar to my other one. But it does have a lot of stuff about shadow work and understanding your triggers and transformations. It gives you like a prompt on how to identify your trigger cards versus your transformation cards, and kind of like an activity to do that throughout your journey of using the deck. And then it gets into card spreads. So we have a shadow reveal spread, attachment spreads, working with difficult shadows. Let's see, shadow integration. And then that's it. Then we get into the cards. Main difference here is that we have color illustration. So the pages are wider and there's illustration here. So probably better contrast when you're reading this. I don't personally care one way or another in the colors of the pages, but just trying to do my due diligence and point out the differences here. I think those are going to be the major changes throughout. And you can see like it's fully colored, illustrated throughout. Here we have the artwork that is the cover of the guidebook. Oh, I'm sorry, struggling with my words today, guys. So yeah, I just didn't want to spend too much time on the guidebook. I really want to get into the flip through for you guys. And then in the back we have about the author and creator, and then about the artist. Let's get this open. It comes wrapped in cellophane, and get into the flip through. Okay, so that was the flip through. Let's talk about these. I pulled them out. The deck comes with the four spreads that I mentioned in the guidebook. So even though this box is bigger, right? The original deck came like this. So the guidebook does not fit in the box. I think it was the only qualm that I really had about the deck when we got it. So what she did to counteract that, and you still have access to the spreads, was include the spread cards. So that way, if you like those spreads and want to use them regularly and you're traveling with the deck, you don't have to worry about bringing the book along, accidentally losing it, or even if you did lose the book, you still have access to the spreads. I like that this traversed that to this version because you saw this box is a little bit of a chunky monkey, quite a large box. So if I wanted to travel with just the deck, like in a bag or something, I could still have my spreads. Now, the artwork on the back, I mentioned they are the same. I'm going to pull the other deck out so we can just do a nice comparison, and I'll zoom in as well. The artwork on the back, we can see exactly the same. Now, you might be wondering, Britt, like, then what was the reason? What was the point, right? So the cardstock is not the same. And this is a little thicker, but this is going to be more durable. Let me show you. So on these cards, yeah, this is a good example, yeah. You can see how the edges are peeling up here. This was an issue with the first deck. Did I put a card in the wrong spot? That's weird. So let me see if I can find a bad one. Oh, here we go. I thought at first that it was me being really rough with the cards. I thought it was me being really rough with the cards, but it wasn't. You can see, oh, there we go. You can see that. See that white-ish or lighter colored line? That is the peeling. You can see it here as well. Serefina was aware that it was happening, but she had already kind of committed to it with the first edition. So that is one of the major changes. I will say that it really was only a problem for the backs of the cards. The fronts are fine. So to me, it kind of is what it is. As long as you don't purposefully pull it up, it doesn't really mess with the overall integrity of the card. It just might down the line continue to get worse and worse. So mind you, I've had this for now a year and a half, maybe not even a year and a few months. And I had this happen almost immediately. Like I used it for like a month to kind of get used to the deck. And I mentioned it to her and she sent me a few replacement cards because some cards did get quite bad. And we and they have been fine, right? They've been better. So in fact, I think I can identify the replacement cards. So anyways, that is a long story to explain some of the issues with the first deck in terms of QA, or I'm sorry, guys, quality assurance. But I will say that Serefina took all of that into consideration and so birthed this new deck. So let me find the card, at least this first card, so we can compare the artwork. We have the OG deck and the new deck here. Really only change we have is that white line border on the old one versus the new one. The artwork looks almost exactly the same. The card dimensions are the same, but the card stock, as I mentioned, is different. This is a little thicker than this, which honestly I'm actually okay with. As I've gone along in the years of tarot, I actually prefer slightly under average in terms of thinness. Like I like it to be slightly on the thinner side of average. And it doesn't actually make the deck that much smaller. So it's not that much of a difference, you can see here. So here, just to point out, this is the white line that I am talking about, goes around the entire top border and then stops at the title of the card. So that's really the only difference in terms of the old deck, the OG deck. So let's see how it shuffles. For a deck that came wrapped in cellophane, it actually shuffles quite well. It's only a little chunky, which I tend to expect. Let me pull this out a little bit. I tend to expect when I'm when I get a deck that's wrapped in cellophane. So let's see how it riffles and bridges. So this is why I like a slightly thinner deck, or cardstock rather. It bridges like butter. This is what I love. I love this bridge here. Nice. Hear it. Okay, so the only thing I can't really test, it does kind of fan well. It will probably fan well if I had a less smooth surface. Because it wants to. It slides first before it can get going. So I think this would be a good fanning deck as well. Way better than the original, actually. The coating on the original made it a little just tacky enough that it never really, you kind of had to work at it to get it to fan really well. Okay, let me pull out a deck, show you a pairing with this that I absolutely just love. I'll actually 2 decks. Be right back. Okay, the 2 decks that I'm thinking of are the Light Seers Tarot and the Meraki Tarot. So let's look at the Light Seers Tarot first, and you guys will have to tell me what you think of the pairing. Okay, gonna give it a quick shuffle just to get it all loosened up. Whoops. Okay, so we have our first pairing here. Let's see. Look at the colors. I just love how there's so much movement in both of these cards. I love the colors in this. It's almost like, if you look at the color scheme of this, it almost looks like the magician here is like, she is in this pool that he is putting magic into. So this card is the chameleon. This is adaptability, shape-shifting, conformity. And then we have the magician, who is more so like the card of manifestation skills in the upright, and then sometimes in the reverse, like untapped potential kind of thing. So it's like the potential or skill to be adaptable to one's surroundings or to things that are happening to you. But I love that pairing. It's beautiful. Okay, and then we have Sacred Mountain. This is the Ancestors, Endurance, Resilience. This is the Eight of Wands. I'm going to just do everything upright so we can see the actual images, even though that was kind of close to everything being upright. But, Eight of Wands, this is like the card of movement or like activity or inactivity that's happening, depending whether upright or reversed. And then this is like endurance and resilient, and this is about whether you're being you're being active in your resiliency, or maybe you should be a little more active in your resiliency, maybe not being active enough. Let's see. We have awakening, epiphany, enlightenment, and higher calling with the Knight of Swords. Oh, it almost seems like this Knight of Swords is running towards the new idea that he just like conjured. That awakening is, there's a lot of movement and energy that I see a lot in comparison to these two cards. I really like this pairing, guys. I'm so excited. I really want to use this for next month, but I already have another deck. You'll have to check out my Gullah Tarot flip through to see what I'm talking about. But here we have, I'll make this the last one and we'll go into the other pairing. We have the Kindred Spirits. This is Rewilding, True Nature, and Self-Love with the Wheel of Fortune. Ooh, I love that, because the Wheel of Fortune is about the cycle that one is in, whether they're in a high or in a low. The Wheel of Fortune is more so about how these cycles can be in our favor or can be working against us at the moment, and everything is constantly changing. And I think that within this, it's like identifying that whether you're up or down, there's always room for self-love, and always room for allowing yourself to kind of readapt into nature and reconnect with nature. I love these together. I just truly love this deck, guys. Okay, let me switch the Light Seers Tarot to the Meraki Tarot. Be right back. Okay, here we have the Meraki Tarot. Give this one a quick shuffle. Let's see what pairings we have. Oh, this is gorgeous. Okay. We have Thunder and Lightning, Painful Realization, Inner Conflict with the Four of Wands. That one actually doesn't initially go together well, but aesthetically, I feel like it does. So, and it could be too, right? We have painful realizations that, like, even in the midst of like happy elements, and this could be more reversed too, because I didn't really like I said, I'm not pulling reversals to compare with this, but he could be looking up at this tree. Who knows? Trying to find inspiration in a time of struggle. And there we go. The Hanged Man always throws me off. We have the Blood Moon, Beginnings, Endings, and Clean Slates with the Hanged Man. So it's like that deciding that you need to sacrifice and change perspectives in order to put things behind you and start fresh. That definitely goes well together. Ooh, we have the Wheel of Fortune come up again in another aspect. This is the Rising Sun, Hope, Courage, Optimism with the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, I like that. Cycles of hope and optimism, and even in low elements, there's always room for hope. And we have the Magician come up again. How serendipitous. Okay, we have the Lotus. This is the past, transcendence, and evolution, and the Magician, who is the manifester. So you can be manifesting this transcendent journey. Ooh, this is quite lovely together. All right, one more. We have Setting Sun, Depression, Habits, and Suffering with the Five of Wands. So maybe this stuff ends up causing you to lash out externally. You might be in a depressive state and therefore lash out at other people unintentionally. So yeah, I love these two together. Okay, guys, let me know which was your favorite pairing. Did you like both of them? If you have other decks that you think would go well, or if you have this deck and you pair it with something, let me know what pairings you like. I'm always on the lookout of different ways to use this guy because it, again, is my favorite. Okay, guys, that was the flip through, the comparison, and the pairings. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Even if you didn't, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.